Hello and welcome back to episode 6 of the hellhades.com podcast, brought to you by hellhades.com. Today we are joined as ever by Paul, the co-host of the show, but also by Jack and Neva, who are members of the Hell Hades team. And we're going to be getting to know them, asking them some questions and things like that. Before we get into the actual show, I just want to let everybody know that we've recently launched a new YouTube channel for the HH Gaming side of things, where we're covering different games outside of Raid. There still will be Raid content on this page, but please do make sure that you go over and subscribe to this channel. We also have a video upload of the podcast go onto there every week, so you can see our beautiful faces whilst we're doing the podcast. So yeah, welcome guys. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. How are you guys?
Enthusiastic guys. They're like
everyone's still waking up.
Yeah, Dan's just like, right, guys, you're coming on the podcast this week. Let's have some enthusiasm. They're like, oh really?
We have to talk to these people.
Yeah,
I know they employ us, but still.
Yeah. So Paul, how's your week been before we jump into things?
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, we're recording on Wednesday this week, a bit earlier, so
early,
we're deep in Clan versus Clan. We're slammed away at the points as usual. But yeah, we've obviously had big news in Raid and everything else. So
Ninja.
Total top secret, weird promotion.
Is possibly the weirdest
don't really get it.
situation that I've seen in Raid since I started playing.
Yeah.
It started with this leak on GameSpot, and we still don't know whether it was a leak, whether it was intentional for them to release it before it got released to like the wider masses. With the announcement, if anybody hasn't seen it, that Ninja, the world famous stream, or to be honest, he's a game celebrity these days. He's been on. He was on The Masked Singer. Yeah. He was on the US Masked Singer. He's got a book out. The guy was the first person on Twitch to hit over 1 million views in a stream, I believe, when he.
I mean, if you ever need a lesson on how to monetize yourself, that's how you do it.
Yeah,
that's how you do it, boys. Go sign an exclusivity deal with a nothing streaming platform for $10 million or whatever it was.
I think it was.
Come back to Twitch later, wait for Fortnite to die, sell a book, do loads of other things, and then basically. Yeah, die here, Blue. Go Ninja.
I tell you what, though, Ninja's story in general is actually quite interesting if you look behind it. I mean, the guy used to be, I think he was a professional Halo player, yes. And then from memory, he nearly went blind.
He did.
He had like a detached retina or something like that, and he very nearly ended his gaming career basically because he would have lost his eyesight. And then he came back to, I think he started to get big in PUBG. And then basically jumped on the Fortnite bandwagon, and my God, did he do well out of it?
Yeah, I don't think he necessarily jumped on the bandwagon. I think he was basically the avenue for the game to become popular on Twitch. He was basically what really, he was the first one. It's like every other game, there's always one streamer or two streamers that get there before everyone else, and then
it's like us being able to blame Soda Popping for Among Us and things like that.
Exactly, right. So, and I think he just managed to, like I said, no shit, like he's a very good lesson on how to monetize yourself properly and correctly, and also look after your future, because streaming is a very limited, it's a bit of a do or die kind of career. So he's done really well to monetize himself, and fair play to him. But
and I think it helps that he puts himself out there very much as almost like a goody, which I know now that he's streaming again, it's actually kind of gone the polar opposite with his almost real personality coming out. But, initially he was very much making his streams very, very child friendly, very kid friendly.
So many children.
He was playing Fortnite, wasn't he? So
but he was so brand safe. People were just throwing deals at the guy. So fair play to him.
True.
However, we're now going to be seeing Ninja in Raid Shadow Legends, which is interesting. I'm not sure what I feel about the model.
I hope the face is not the same.
I was going to say, it looks like someone's literally photoshopped his face into a champion. It
but
looks
not well.
It looks weird. I do like, and I got to say, it was great. Actually, if anyone's seen the GameSpot, the fact he was like, I wanted it based on Sephiroth. I was like, yes, Final Fantasy VII fans unite. We do love a bit of Sephiroth. Best,
he
best
plays a
game
lot
ever.
of Final Fantasy on stream actually
Yeah.
now that he's come back to Twitch and he's moved away from Fortnite. You do see him streaming things which he just genuinely enjoys playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Which a lot of that is actually Final Fantasy games. So
yeah,
it's
but
interesting.
I really like the half wing design. It looks like it's going to be some sort of archer, so the animations could be cool.
Yeah,
especially if they've done like live. I don't know whether the GameSpot promotion was just him kind of like doing it for marketing, or whether they actually did motion capture with him. But it looks kind of cool.
well, they did with Sato.
Yeah, I was going to say they did for Saito.
Yeah,
There you go. So I mean, if it's motion capture and he's got some animations in it, that could be quite cool. And also from a little for sciencey kind of thing. He does bring in brand new mechanics that no other champion in the game has ever had before, in this ability to increase his own base stats, essentially. To give himself 1500 extra attack is significant. Crit damage, not so much. And we don't really know whether that's going to be the exact kit. It's leaked, it's data mined. We've assessed it from what we can see, but it looks really cool.
Yeah.
I know that
free.
Never is got his chickens ready to go when it comes out.
Yeah.
The rumor is it's going to be
the
a
ninja
hard not to
fanboy
when you don't pull anything.
exactly. I think the rumor is it's going to be a 7-day collector. So if you play for 7 days between like the 15th to 16th of July and the 15th of October, rumor is unconfirmed that if you play for 7 days concurrently, you'll get Ninja for free on the 7th day.
Yeah.
So
we're recording on the 14th today, but the podcast will actually go out on the 16th. So it will be the start of the Ninja event. So
correct.
If you guys want to find out the full details of exactly what's happening with that event, make sure you go over to hellhades.com because Never, I'm sure, will be doing a guide as to exactly how to acquire Ninja during this
log
time.
into the game. So yeah, I'll make sure it's covered.
Yeah. Which should be an easy one for you to do a write-up of then, I guess.
Yeah, nice and easy.
Yeah. So jumping into it, Jack, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Obviously, you've been a part of the team really since we started developing the site, as has Never. But more so recently, you guys have come on as full-time members of staff. Do you want to maybe introduce yourselves, let people know who you are, and what you do for us as a company?
Yeah, so my handle name is Lockers. That's kind of what I'm known for, or known as, sorry. So I work in the social media and the content side of the website. So I'm the one that handles the posts on socials and Facebook, Twitter.
He's the guy spamming your feed,
the
guys.
comments. Yeah. Yesterday it was just spam. There's so much going on. And yeah, I started properly, full time. At the start of the year. So
yeah. What were you doing before then?
So I used to work in a bowling alley.
Okay, cool.
Behind the bar. Just
awesome.
Easy. It's low pay. It was quite an easy job. Then I went to retail. So I worked at a co-op and I was a deputy manager there, assistant manager. So ran shifts and then Dad was like, well, Hell Hades.
You see, you dropped that one in now.
He was like, do you want a better job? I was like, yes, please.
So for those of you listening who don't know, Jack is Hell Hades or Simon's son. He joined the team at the beginning of the year. But yeah,
I think I saw somebody refer to you as Hades Spawn a while ago.
Awesome.
Truly correct.
I like it. So as well as that, obviously you've started producing content on your own YouTube channel as well this week, which is awesome.
Yes.
And you're going to be focusing mainly on New World, I believe.
Yeah, so I started 4 days ago, maybe. Just trying to get content out and trying to really focus on New World because I think it looks amazing, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a
nice little bridge because I want to focus on Ashes later on as soon as it's developed. We know it's going to be a while, so it's going to be a nice little bridge to get into Ashes, really.
Yeah, awesome. And yeah, moving across to Never or Luke, who again, brand new member of the team's full-time member of staff with us. Again, with everyone who's worked on the site and is now a full-time member of staff with us at HH Gaming, everyone basically came on board with us back in November when we started building the website before it went live. But fortunately, we're lucky enough to be in a position now where the people who have been doing this off their back and helping us in their own time, we were now able to offer full-time jobs, and Never is one of those people. So Never, do you want to introduce yourself and sort of let people know who you are, what you do for the company?
Yeah, sure.
And
so
like
I'm Luke, more commonly known as Never in terms of gaming. Funnily enough, got involved as Fiction is my brother.
It's a family business.
It is a family business. So yeah, I've been writing content for the website. More commonly due to I worked full time as a charity fundraiser. So most of my time went into Fusion guides. However, when we released the takeovers, I started running that. So between doing my own takeovers, I am in charge of assigning the jobs and making sure that everything's done on time.
That's cute.
Obviously to the quality that we want.
Yeah,
5-star reviews across the board.
Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't even got a 4-star review yet. It's great. Not that I'm knocking the quality of content that we do, but it just seems like almost natural within like an online retail sector that you would at least have one unhappy customer, but we seem to be doing.
I think you'll find it's a massive fear of being the first one to not get a 5-star review that's keeping that going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, in terms of that, obviously I'm still doing takeovers and still overseeing that, but I am also being able to put a lot more time into content now, obviously with it being full time. So yeah.
And again, with the new YouTube channel going live, Paul and Never are basically collaborating on a weekly show on the new YouTube channel, which will be dedicated to the For Science Club, which we've talked about quite a lot within the podcast. But
all the little things you don't know how it works, and even when I'm sat here after 10 hours still trying to figure out how the hell it works.
My head still hurts from the numbers yesterday.
Yeah,
we haven't even finished yet.
So the big brains of the team are going to be putting together a For Science Club, delving into the deeper sort of mechanical side of Raid Shadow Legends, and talking about some of these neat little tricks that you may never have heard about, but when you put them into practice, they can actually transform your game. I know full well some of the things that I picked up from their little For Science experiments have massively helped the progress on my account, so we're looking forward to sharing that with the community as well. Yeah, so
I feel like I should go and take a DNA test right now, just in case I'm related. I'm the only one who's not related right now.
Actually, I didn't think about that.
Maybe I should double check.
You are literally the outcast. I feel bad. Maybe we could get married or something, Paul.
Like the prodigal son or whatever they call it. Just like the one who's left on the outside.
Yeah.
Never to be talked about. Never to be referred to.
The adopted child. It's fine.
It's okay.
But no, aside from obviously on the development side of things, in terms of the day-to-day running of the site, actually you are the only person who's not technically related. Obviously, me and Simon, Hell Hades are not related. But I think Lady H has adopted us both as she's basically the sensible mother of the group.
I just keep the basement clean. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I maintain the locked storage where we peg away all the coding and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tapping keyboards.
Yeah. Just handle the networking and the wires on the side. It's fine.
Yeah, it's you get a bash with the broom upstairs. It's the internet's gone down. Hang on. Yeah.
Awesome. So one of the main things that we're looking forward to over the next few weeks, obviously, we're going to be putting daily content out on the new YouTube channel. But one things that obviously Jack's going to be working on is New World content. Now, this will primarily be on his main page, but we are also going to cover New World on the HH Gaming site as well. And as a part of that, the four of us plus Mr. Hell Hades himself will be doing a live stream event for the launch of New World, and we'll have more details leading up to that, but I think it might be a good idea to perhaps go through each of us and just kind of talk about the experience that you've got with MMOs and things like that, because I mean, I know full well that my experience, lots of people within the community know that I've got a history in World of Warcraft. I played it for 16 years or something now. And previously to that, I only really played MMOs, older versions of MMOs. I actually got into MMOs from a game called The Myth of Soma. I don't know if any of you guys know that.
Old school.
Yeah. So there used to be a channel on UK TV. It was a TV channel called the Gaming Network. And on that channel, they had live events broadcasted of two different games. One was The Myth of Soma, and the other one was The Legend of Mir. And every day, the game masters would jump into the game, and they would basically live stream. Back before Twitch and things like that really existed, onto the TV channel events that would happen in the game. And that's what drove me into playing The Myth of Soma from watching this. And I played that game hardcore.
It's the problem when you play MMO the first time. Whenever you start your first MMO, it creates an addiction where you can never stop.
I don't think it's worn off. I love MMO games. And I think the only reason that I stopped playing World of Warcraft was actually because I couldn't commit to a raid schedule. Because the thing is, for me with World of Warcraft, is the pinnacle of the game is raiding.
Yes.
And if I don't raid, I almost have no point in playing the game, because I enjoy all of the other aspects of the game, but I would always use them as a goal to fuel my raiding. So I would farm Mythic Plus dungeons and things like that to get better equipment so that I could then go and raid and perform better. And as well as that, it's like keeping your skills up to date and, you're brushing up on your techniques and stuff and learning your rotations and things like that so that you could actually perform better within the raids themselves. But when I took raiding out of the equation, I no longer had like the drive to actually continue playing the game. And although I have got an active account and an active character, and which is max level, I just don't play it because it's just I don't have that drive and that team behind me, I guess, driving it. So Paul, I know you've got some experience with MMOs in the past and things like that. What got you into MMO gaming?
Lord of the Rings Online. It's the best game ever. We
I never tried it. Never tried.
Oh wow, it's like the pinnacle of MMO gaming in my opinion. That's not really. I mean, it's always been that kind of. I mean, to its credit, both World of Warcraft and Lord of the Rings have survived where a lot of MMOs have died off. You saw a lot of new MMOs come out, and it's a WoW killer.
Yeah.
And Lord of the Rings Online is the one that's stable, but it's brilliant. I mean, the difference is if you want to raid, WoW is kind of like it's raid or boom. Like not many people play WoW because of the story. Let's face it. Whereas Lord of the Rings Online,
story? I didn't know there was a story.
But obviously, with Lord of the Rings Online, it's Tolkien, it's Lotro, it's the story. You're fighting alongside Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas, cool. And they've recently now they've started going back a little bit and dealing with the dwarves and fighting alongside not Dwalin, what's his name? Not
Thorin. Like Mines of Moria and things like that.
No, later than that. We've been to Moria. Moria was the second expansion. We're now up the end where they're almost like fighting in Gundabad, trying to reclaim it. The ring's been destroyed.
Cool.
Ages. We went through Mordor. I haven't played it in a while, but I've probably dropped 15 to 20,000 hours, if not more.
Nice.
Into that game. Like it is. I actually, funny story with we're going to be doing like a 24-hour stream with New World, hopefully 24. Yep. Fingers crossed, if I can stay awake.
Oh, it's going to happen.
But when we were doing that back in like Shadows of Angmar days, like the first year or so when it came out, there used to be like not so many raids back then, but there was an instance in Numinas, City of the Kings of old, before it all got destroyed and burned down. And it was like a 3-man and a 6-man. And it was so much fun back then because you had like really close-knit friends. It's the first like kind of proper gaming experience I had. It was about 5 of us or so. And we were playing to like 3-4 in the morning sometimes. And we would literally at times have to like shout down the microphone to our captain, who was our healer, to wake up because he'd fallen asleep on the keyboard. It's like, we're like, wake up. It's okay. We need you to heal the instance.
Yeah, we are dying.
And it literally about 5 minutes later, I'll get, oh, sorry, I fell asleep on the keyboard.
No, that's the classic excuse of blaming the healer. Sorry. But
it's always true. But no, it was, I mean, I still play it from time to time. I take breaks for about a year or so, and then I go back into it to do the content. But very much unlike WoW, you're playing it more for the story as well. And
sure,
they've actually started doing a lot more raids, considering you'd think that they wouldn't be able to fund it, because they did go through a period of time where they stopped doing raids because they wasn't a big enough community for it in the raiding side, and it kind of killed the game a little bit. But yeah, so I've tried that. I haven't really played WoW. I did play some of the WoW killers, like Age of Conan. I played that for a little bit, which is kind of cool. I think New World's got a similar fighting mechanic to some extent to Age of Conan.
I've heard it compared to it quite a lot, actually. Yeah.
It's not as direct, but similar in terms of like action combat, rather than it being just click a skill and do an ability.
Yeah.
I think I played one which was like it only lasted like a year or so. It's like it was like a directional shooter kind of thing. I can't remember what it was called now, but it was it had a promise, but they just didn't build enough content.
Sure.
I mean, the problem with MMOs is the same thing, right? You basically develop the game for 6 months and then someone comes out and finishes it in 10 hours. So
yeah,
like,
true.
Yeah, that's true. So Jack, what's your experience with the MMO world, I guess?
Well, I was too young to really get into WoW. Well, not too young, but I never really got into it. So my experience.
How old are you, Jack?
20. My experience is watching Hellhades play hours on end whilst I was growing up.
Yeah.
Hours
just kind of
he's
pushing you away.
Yeah, like the bottle just in one hand like that, and then he's just playing it.
Like, Dad, can you help me with my maths homework? Yeah, 1 + 1. He's like, no,
pretty much.
AFK.
I think one of the best things that I've ever seen was a guy raiding in WoW, but he had one of those baby holders, and the baby's just like sort of sat in there so that he's got his hands free and he's on this keyboard while he's getting his raiding in.
Yeah, so I never really got into the WoW factor, but I basically played not really MMO, but League of Legends for the last 6-7 years.
Yep.
So that's been my main game really for a while now.
The bane of my existence right now. Terrific.
Solo duo queue's not doing
well.
well.
I tell you what, I know full well that there's a slightly different story coming up. So Luke, do you want to spill the beans on your MMO experience?
Well, I kind of grew up watching you play everything, whether it be Soma, eventually when you started playing WoW. As much as you weren't very interested in letting me get involved initially, eventually I broke that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
how old were you when you started raiding at a decent level in World of Warcraft?
At a competitive level, I think I was about 9 when I became the main tank for our guild.
9.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Fair play.
Yeah.
I didn't even think there was computers when I was 9.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I had a lot of help from my co-tank at the time, who remained a big part of our friendship circle for many, many years after that. In fact, I still speak to him every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got involved. Obviously, Dan, you were a big part of getting me into that.
Yep.
Thank you. You wasted years of my life. But yeah, from there, obviously, things kind of progressed to the point where I was raiding very end game content very quickly at a very young age. I kind of, for a long time, had the nickname of just being the 12-year-old. I never outgrew me
even when you were like 19, 20.
Yeah, it never outgrew until we recruited somebody who was younger, actually.
Yeah.
But
it was always awkward, actually, because it's like Luke, especially because the group of people that we played together for so many years. I think it was about 8 years or so that we played with some of these people, and they sort of had that transition of Luke being like the awkward kid in the raid to suddenly this guy is better than us, and to a point where he's got friends who he plays with when he's not raiding with us who are literally some of the best players in the world. And he turns up to raid with us, but then when he's in our raid, we still see him as the little kid in the group. So everyone still had that mentality. It's like, oh, don't listen to him, he's the little kid. And
that
then,
didn't go down too well when I had children either.
And then you actually
changes a bit, right?
Well, you look at his performance and things like that, and then when the guild actually eventually disbanded, Luke then went on to, playing in seriously high-end guilds, much higher than what we were playing at. Achieving like, what was the highest rank that you got? Like nearly
44.
top 100.
I got 44 on the second last boss.
There you go.
I can't remember what tier it was. Normally fluctuated around 100 to 150.
Yeah, which I mean for World of Warcraft is huge when you think about how many people how many guilds are competing on a weekly basis for these spots. I actually released a YouTube video. I don't know if you guys checked it out, with an interview with one of my friends, Faithy, who is currently competing for the Race to World First.
Currently world 27th.
Yeah,
Cool.
but they've literally just started. Luke was very much almost playing at that level, but without as many days per week. I guess.
I mean, with 2 children, it was impossible to put that time in.
Yeah. And you know, I guess why did you stop playing World of Warcraft and things like that?
It was much the same when I was playing. Well, I could never commit to another game because I always felt that it was something I could be doing to progress myself further in that game.
Yeah.
It got to a point where the content was quite stale, and Dan started playing Raid, and I did too.
Now we have no life. We basically canvas his clan 24/7.
So I'd find myself, I'd just be sat on WoW and I'd just have it open. I was AFK, not touching it at all, and I'd just be playing Raid on my other screen for hours. And it got to the point where Raid night would come up, and I didn't want to raid. I just wanted to play Raid. My enthusiasm for the game just went, because I was putting my attention into Raid, and from there it was just time to stop. So I cancelled.
I guess the thing is, for people who were very into like the min-maxing side of MMOs and things like that, Raid Shadow Legends actually fills that gap quite nicely, because the amount of min-maxing and stuff that you have to do to really optimize your account is huge.
It's crazy.
That's
why I enjoy it so much. I mean, when I used to play Lord of the Rings Online, I literally had spreadsheets where I would min-max my character using various different things.
Many a spreadsheet.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that was the fun part of it, because you can run and beat a dungeon, fine, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But doing it in a different way and build, like hitting like we used to do back in Mines More expansion, do a test where we basically have like 2 people in the vault or whatever, and we would buff that one person's hunter as much damage as possible to see how hard we can get the heart seeker hitting, you know, just as a duel, just to see what number we can get, and try and break some absurd number. I think we got, like, at the time, I think the record was like 50,000. We got like 150,000 by the end of it. It was great fun. Total pointlessness, but that's why, you know.
In terms of min-maxing, one of the things that I guess probably did burn me out is just before I quit, we actually made our own guild. Again, reformed our old guild. And it became a case of not just min-maxing my own account, I was min-maxing 25 other people's accounts. Obviously making sure, I mean, I wasn't raid leading because...
Hang on. Isn't it your job to do takeovers for people on Raid now?
Yes, but I didn't get paid for it before.
That's true, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, actually that's a really good point. But like I say, there was no income for it. It was just, I was spending hours upon hours making sure everything literally... And
having to do a full-time job, look after kids, things like that.
Yeah.
And it is exactly that point with the MMOs. You know, we are all very much in a lucky position that, you know, actually playing these games now is no longer a chore. It's, you know, our day-to-day, it's our day-to-day jobs. Whereas a lot of people are in the position where they're having to work full-time, manage their account, you know, make sure that they're still able to compete and things like that. And, you know, it almost puts us on the outside of having that perspective anymore. But we've all lived that. We've all been there up until, you know, really the past few months. Where, you know, and that's why I always sympathize with people when they say, you know, the time spent at the moment in Raid Shadow Legends is ridiculous, because if I can't do it, and you know, it is my full-time job to go in and play this game. If I don't have the time in the day to do it, then how can anyone who works a full-time job possibly have time to do it? It's beyond me.
Yeah, it is a problem. They need to fix it. I'm sure they're working on some fixes, but I mean, at the moment they can't even
Ninja.
Are they?
Well, I mean, we can't even figure out how to keep promo codes hidden. So
yeah, that's cool. You
know.
Well, the thing is, have they actually said anything about the promo codes? Because as soon as we found out about Ninja, suddenly people started testing promo codes, and you know, we found out that promo code Ninja worked, and it gave you a lot of bonuses, and whether it was supposed to be a secret or not, everyone was doing it, and it was everywhere.
I mean, from what I understand, for some of the things I've seen and has been passed to me, they plan to obviously have the code in conjunction with the event of some sort. I guess they released the code in advance thinking nobody would try it. And then they also had a bit of a bug where you could basically put any character after Ninja and it would work because of localization issues.
Amazing.
So you could put plus and it would continue to work. I think they've now disabled it, so I don't think it works anymore.
So there was a conversation earlier where it is disabled, and unfortunately it doesn't look like anybody who missed out on the second set will get anything. So good on you if you got the second set. I know I did. I've just finished burning through the energy.
So, but I mean, I think this is from a marketing executive point of view, obviously I don't know what the dealings and what the relationship is between Ninja and Plarium, but this is with like, it's been a bit of a shit show, really, to put it plainly. Like, you've got this big streamer coming out promoting this skin. Obviously it's a new player acquisition strategy. I think it's obvious, so that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to attract a bigger audience, which is fine.
Of course,
we all appreciate that. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that, but you need to join it up. Like, you need to include your content creators. You need to build hype. Right now, everyone in the community knows what the champion is, what's going to happen. We think we know how we're going to get it. It's been released on a random, GameSpot's not random, but you know what I mean? It's not been officially announced. And now we're in a position where it's going to be like, Plarium are going to announce it when we already know everything. It kind of...
Yeah, they made a mistake.
Yeah.
A big mistake.
I think GameSpot probably leaked it. I think that they weren't supposed to release it in that way. And, now it's gone from being this thing that could have been like, okay, like, this is really cool. And don't get me wrong, there is nothing like, everyone who's I see loads of people saying negative things like, oh, Ninja's nothing to do with Raid and things like that. Look at the bigger picture. This is bringing a massive amount of new players into the game.
New player acquisition. Huge.
No matter how you look at it, it is a good thing. But what they've now done is just cause all of this confusion inside the community, because the thing is, the entire event is clearly not for us. It is not for the players. It is for Ninja's community.
But
that's
why they're doing a 7-day thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're making sure everyone logs back in another 7 days.
Exactly.
And how it looks to everyone else, it's just like, oh, great. What about us?
Yeah.
From what I've seen and understood so far, I think that Ninja as a champion is going to be exclusive for the 3 months. I don't think he's going to be available afterwards. I don't think he'll be in Shark.
Which makes sense. I get that.
Okay, so you won't even be able to pull him.
Not from what I've understood so far. But as well as that, I think the confusion in terms of where Plarium have been obviously keeping things from us. There was an NDA in place, and I think it was only on their end. So I don't think Ninja was under the NDA.
No, it was probably with his marketing team, to be honest.
Yeah, so obviously he's spoken out, and it's put Plarium in the position where they actually can't say anything because it's out. Okay. Everybody knows about it, but they are not allowed to comment on it. So I think obviously they've been a little bit more open about it the last the last day or so. So I think that's probably where their legal team has spoken and gone through Ninja to decide what they can and can't say at the moment.
Well, I think one of the biggest things is, when you're dealing with somebody who is as famous as Ninja, this is a massive celebrity, and I'm not even talking a gaming celebrity or even somebody who's big on Twitch. Ninja is a justified, bona fide, real celebrity. He is known outside of the gaming world. He is known inside of the gaming world. He is idolized by kids everywhere. The guy's got his own clothing range, which you can get at Asda in the UK.
He's effectively the biggest gaming influencer in the world.
Yes,
in terms of his reach.
Yeah.
If you think from a business perspective, they go in, okay, well, we want to acquire new players. Who do we pick in the gaming industry that's got the biggest influence outside of our content creation team? Ninja.
Yeah,
because he may not necessarily get the numbers, but
the only thing that worries me about that is that a lot of his audience are kids.
Well, there's the terms of play is you have to be 13 to play Raid. So
okay.
But let's bear in mind that Raid is an expensive game to play, and that money's got to come from somewhere. And this is from me personal experience. My son, and I haven't dropped this into one of the other podcasts, I don't think. My son got hold of my card on my account when I was asleep and literally donated £1,000 to streamers. So
yikes.
Yeah, yeah,
that's a lot of pocket money to pay back.
That was an extremely fun conversation to have with him. That being said, you can't blame anyone but yourself, because you gave them the ability to do that. Yes, he shouldn't have been on my laptop. He shouldn't have had the ability to do it, but I can only put it on myself. I can't really get annoyed with him about it. He was too young to understand what he was doing. But that's going to be the same for a lot of ninjas.
I bet this happens a lot. I bet this happens a lot with the raid.
It does.
It will happen a lot. Raid will make a lot of from this, because kids naively will just, money into the game.
At the same time, it would have cost them a large amount to.
Yeah, they got to claw some of it back.
I mean, it explains the constant fusions, right?
Yeah. But let's hope it doesn't bring a negativity to Raid, because the thing is, this has happened with loads of games before. I know it's happened with Fortnite. It happens with Twitch, YouTube, and things like that
it's
all the time.
Very successful as well.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at Fortnite with the skins when they have like what's the face from Australia? I forget her name. She's got like her dance emote in there. She's got a skin in there, and so therefore these
Pokemon in that.
I don't think Pokemon's in it. Yeah. I think a lot of the big streamers are Loser Fruit. That's the one I was thinking of.
Okay, I don't know Fortnite at all.
So they're using a lot of the big Fortnite streamers, bringing their skins in. It creates a better connection between the content creators and the audience, and it creates a revenue demand within the game. It's something that Plarium should actually look at more and actually try to connect better with their content creators.
Yeah,
to actually develop more of a relationship between the player base, the content creators, and the game, because it's mutually beneficial. Yeah, this is where I was saying it's a missed opportunity, because content creators have absolutely zero information, whether there's an NDA or not. If I was making this business decision, I'd be saying, well, hang on, I need to build a plan, a calendar. I need to include the people who are going to broadcast it.
That's why I think it's crazy that it went out the way it did. I honestly think there was a plan. There was an idea, there was a strategy for this, and it all went out the window the second somebody put it online.
It's almost like it's almost like they never expected anyone to find the article.
Yeah.
Just like they never expected anyone to find the promo code.
Yeah.
Like someone's turned it on. Like that's a decision that Plarium has made.
Yeah.
Now, whether that was intentional, but it feels a bit like we've all kind of done a bit of an oopsie this week at Plarium. Someone clearly didn't eat their Weetabix, because things like double legendary events is meant to only get it once. Like, what?
Yeah.
And
we've heard about this detachment between the marketing team, the developers, and the community team quite a lot before.
Yeah.
And I think actually but that's my point. This just highlights that sort of separation within the company. You've got the people who are managing the community of the game who aren't allowed to release this information. You've got the developers who are putting stuff in the game, and then you've got the marketers who are working on these deals, and they're pushing these deals out there and letting people know about them. Suddenly the developers are getting in trouble from the community team because there's stuff in the game which people are finding. The marketers are getting, in trouble from the developers because they've put this information out there before it's ready to be released.
Yeah.
And so I think they will learn a lot from this. And unfortunately for them, I think actually, although this is going to be massive for the game, it's not going to be as big as it could have been had they played this out properly.
Yeah.
But that
I'd like to see what they would have done.
Be huge. It's still going to be huge.
Yeah, I would like to see what they would have done though, like how they would have rolled it out rather than just a leak or people guessing promo codes. Yeah, they might.
Or
I hope they do.
The other option is that maybe this is what they intended to happen. This could have been the plan all along.
Having it as a leak.
God, if it is, someone should get sacked.
Just leak it. And
but I know there is the stream, isn't there? So he is revealing it in the 19th of July live stream.
But that's the thing. By leaking it, that builds hype for his stream now. Because now the raid community has been leaked to the raid community before it was announced.
True.
Now
you can announce it 24 hours before. Like what I don't get is
if they were held under an NDA, then maybe they couldn't. But
but why
if you already knew about it?
Yeah, that's true actually.
But the question is, why did they sign an agreement which they knew that they wouldn't be able to announce it, but Ninja was able to? It's very weird. Like something has gone wrong in the background. Obviously, we're not privy to it, and I'm sure it will end.
The fine print.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll end positively, but I mean, the champion looks cool. I think it's potentially, we haven't done the for sciencing of it yet. I'm sure it'll feature in an episode, but it looks unique. Soon. Yeah, it looks like it can do a bit in different areas. Clan Boss looks like it could be really fun. And I think it's cool that they're starting to look beyond the limitations of the sort of gacha kind of thing where, you know, it's a bit of a running joke. It's good to see that they're trying to make it so that it brings credibility, and it can only improve the credibility if people like Ninja kind of get involved. So I just think it's very strange that the marketing department is the way it's been handled all this week. It's almost like Plarium have just like lost their brains. The team have just done like, oh, we'll just release the code, nobody will find it, and we'll just let him do the article, nobody will know about it, and we'll just add the champion into the game code, because of course the data miners aren't going to look at it. I mean, we're not going to publicly announce the champion until we know it's going to come into the game, but at the same time, we're smart enough to know what everything does now. We probably know more about the game than developers do to some extent. Just to be honest,
they underestimated us.
But that's a natural thing in any game, right? You think about it in even like we were talking about MMOs, like the developers will build the game with a concept, but then after 10,000 hours of 20,000 players playing it, they find a way to beat it.
Yeah.
You know, you see
and it
all
was
the
never
time.
intended to be beaten in that way, but you know, shit, it works. Like, either that's intended, is clever use of game mechanics, or it's a bug, let's fix it.
Let's face it, Jack will know when you watch League of Legends, they release a balance patch and they think this is going to solve this problem. And then 2 days later, someone releases a guide and it's like, guys, I've used these two items.
I've broken this. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Karma tank. Karma's not meant to be a tank. Why the hell does it work? Or we've built, they make an item, they think this item is perfect for tanks. And then it's like, yeah, but if I just build it on a DPS, the DPS can't die.
It's like when Samira got released, like just broken champion, and then they release an item that just goes with it. You're like, are you serious?
Yeah, exactly.
What is going on?
Yeah, or like what was the Sona duplicate, Seraphine. Seraphine's a mid laner, and everyone's like, but she's a support. Really, isn't she? Yeah. But you know, the people who play the game generally tend to know. And I think to some extent that's a good balance. Like, you know, as a topic, like developers don't want to make it so that every outcome is programmed, because then you lose that sort of joy of finding a new thing.
Yeah, the wow factor.
Exactly. Whereas, but I feel like Plarium need to get a little bit closer to what things do and why they should happen, rather than just going, well, you know, let's face it, some of the buffs they put through, everyone's like Beardell Helm, whatever is the hammer dude for the Void rework was like the main feature in the videos and everything, and they just buffed him to a point where he's still not useful.
Yeah.
Like
it's very difficult, honestly. I don't envy, and you know, this is coming from perspective of running a website. You know, when we put something out and something breaks, I don't envy being in the position of having, you know, God knows how many hundreds of thousands of people on you, let alone the thousands that we deal with when something goes down or something's wrong and things like that. Yeah. But certainly going to be an interesting week, or 2 weeks, in fact, for Raid Shadow Legends. We'll see sort of how things progress over the next few days, and obviously we will have the guides up on the website on Friday once we know more details about this event. But yeah, until the next episode, guys, obviously, guys, thank you so much for taking part in today's podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for listening. And make sure you subscribe to the new YouTube channel, subscribe to us on Spotify, basically subscribe to us everywhere. If you haven't already, subscribe to Hell Hades on YouTube as well. But let's face it, if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you already are. But yeah, thank you so much again, guys. And yeah, we will see you in next week's episode.